Hello, Flix fellas.
Hello,
Hi,
Kevin.
Hi. Welcome back, guys. This is fun. We're kind of in a groove now.
Yeah,
I
right.
know.
Although
It's
I
good
think
to be
it's been
back.
like 2 weeks.
Two things are a coincidence. Three things are a trend, Kevin. So we got to do one more time.
Hey, we're close. We're close. Well, I'm excited for this episode. I hope you guys are too. Being a big fan of the franchise, I'm excited to talk about this iteration. The movie.
I'm happy.
Go ahead.
I was going to just say I'm happy you're a big fan because I've never seen any of them.
Kevin
So
has
this was my
always been a
first.
big fan.
Always been a big fan.
Kevin, when we were kids, Kevin would like sit me down and be like, "We're watching AVP right now," and I'm like, "What?" And you're like, "We're watching AVP right now."
Yeah, and we'll talk about my history with Predator in a second, but the now no secret, the movie we watched this week is the Hulu original Prey. Uh, it stars Amber Midthunder. She plays Naru, a skilled warrior of the Comanche Nation who fights to protect her tribe against one of the first highly evolved predators to land on Earth. Directed by Dan Trachtenberg, written by Patrick Azon, Dan Trachtenberg, and Jim Thomas, who I guess wrote the original characters for Predator. Also starring Dakota Beavers, Dane DeLigro. Ligro? DeLigro?
Me? Is that James reading the names?
James?
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Stormy, Kip, Michelle Thrush, and Julian Black Antelope. So Prey. And yes, James alluded to it. Obviously, I've been a fan of the franchise since I was a kid. AVP, which among fans of Predator, is one of the more controversial movies. Not very popular, but was my first kind of view into the world. And me and James watched it a lot. And then went back and watched all the old ones that came out in like the 80s and the 90s. And just been a fan ever since. So excited to talk about it, but I'm excited to hear what you guys have to think. So first reactions, I'm gonna give it to James first because James knows the franchise a little bit. We'll see what Joe has to say last. So we'll give James the reins first.
Again, I think I'm a little rusty. Like, I remember like Predator 1 like vividly. I remember Predators, that like remake they came out with in like 2017, 2016. It was a good one.
Mm-hmm.
But like a lot of the AVP stuff kind of blends together for me because it's been a minute. But this was, I think it was overall, it was a good movie. I thought it was a fun action movie. It wasn't super predictable. I liked there was a good progression to the climax of the movie. Like it definitely went further than I thought it was going to, which I liked. There were elements. It didn't have a lot of depth, but I feel like it didn't need to have a lot of depth. It was a very simple story, and I kind of respect them for keeping them like staying within their sandbox and like kind of really just delivering on what I thought they intended to. It's definitely a good action flick. It's one of the better streaming action movies I think we've watched. Like overall, I think there's like a very tropey, campy thing that like, Tomorrow War and like The Gray Man and like there's a lot of like very like, okay, this is the progression of story and it feels very like cookie cutter. Whereas this feels different in a good way. So I overall really liked it. I thought the action was cool. Definitely pretty gory. If you're not in for the gore, you got to be ready for it. But it was good. Joey, what do you think?
I'm glad we watched this because I can confirm I'm just not a fan of the genre, I think, because it was good quality, good acting. I think there was really good elements to it, but to me, I disagree with James. I think it was very predictable. It's about a girl who's told she can't, so she does. And I don't know, I thought it was predictable. I thought like it took 35 minutes before we like really saw the Predator in action. Like there's little alludiments,
Alludiments.
Yes, yeah.
To
to him and like the alien spacecraft. I will say this: the one thing I was curious about, because they didn't really talk about it, and like I was kind of happy, but back then, the Native Americans, like, obviously there's no social media, no TV, no radio, no newspaper, nothing. Like, the Native Americans see like the Europeans come in, they look like them, they're different. Do you like think that, like, if this had been real, their first thought would have been like, these are aliens from out of our planet, or do you think they would have
No
been like,
way.
this is just from somewhere else on the planet?
No shot. I think they would think it was like an animal. Like there's no frame of reference. Like I actually, Joey, weirdly, I had the exact same thought. Where like one of them was like, I think it was the older brother. I can't remember the name specifically, but the older brother was like, oh, we're gonna go hunt a lion. You know what I mean? And then they were
Mhm.
like walking through and they were looking at tracks and they're like, oh, a bear was here. And
Mhm.
I'm like, do you know what's crazy? Is they have to like they don't like know like if you've never seen a lion before, they don't go like look it up or go talk to other people and like figure out what a lion is. Like if they see a lion for the first time, they're like, holy crap, that's like a savage beast, like that we just have to hunt now. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they experience and learn everything for the first time, you know?
Yeah, I
There's
think
no
Yeah.
to
like
answer the
culmination of
question, I think
knowledge.
realistically, and they don't even ever talk about like she's never like, oh, it's from a different
It's an
planet. Like I
alien.
think they
Yeah.
legitimately just think that this is just an animal that they've never seen before. You know,
Yeah.
maybe when it's like bleeding neon green, she's kind of got this air of like this is a monster, but then at the same time you have to consider like you know, in the sci-fi realm, you know, maybe this is where a lot of like the you know the 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 stories come from, and it's like it doesn't sound real. And I think in the original Predator, the Native American guy in the squad, James, remember him, who wore
Mm-hmm.
the hat, he
Yeah.
talks about the Predator. And I this is kind of cool tie-ins that like if you didn't watch the originals or know the originals you wouldn't pick up on, but he talks about like the story of this predator. So
Yeah.
obviously in that universe this has become a story rather
Yeah.
than
That's a very cool tie-in I didn't pick
yes.
up.
Yeah, so it's cool tie-in, but you're right, Joe. Like they would have no idea that it's from
It's an
outer
alien.
space. They don't even
Yeah.
fucking know what
Yeah.
outer space is. Like
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. So just to wrap up my first reactions, I thought it was kind of a slow open, kind of predictable. Very good elements to it if you like the genre. It's not cheesy, it's not really that tropey. But it's not a movie for me. So
fair enough.
I'll
Heavy webby.
send it over to you.
Yeah, I mean, like no surprise, I really liked it. I think going into it and when I first heard about it, I had like a lot of doubts because you know it is campy action, and like you have to go into like any Predator movie that comes out with these doubts. And the last one that came out was truly just horrific, like just a truly horrific film. James,
What
we
was the last
talked
one that
about
came
it at
out?
your engagement party. That was the Predator with Keegan Michael Key, and then the guy from he was in we
I
watched
never saw that.
what was the movie with the future like murderer, but it ends up being the daughter that we watched?
Oh, Dark Side of the Moon.
Dark was it Dark Side of the Moon?
It's
Something like
something
that.
of the
The one
moon.
that takes
Yeah,
place in Philly. So that
yeah.
guy,
I'll look it up.
he's in it too. Dark of the Moon. Dark of the Moon.
Dark
No,
of the Moon.
it was no Dark's in the
I'm looking
shadows
it
of the
up.
moon.
In
In
the
the shadows of
shadow
the
of the
moon.
In the
moon.
shadow
That's
of the
definitely
moon.
what it
In
was.
the shadow.
Anyway, that guy is also in it, and Keegan Michael Key. And it's it's truly a horrific take on the Predator franchise. So coming off of that, had my doubts, but watching it, I was pleasantly surprised. I think it had a lot of good things. To Joe's point, I think the music was awesome. Like the music was
Yeah.
perfect. Acting was really good. I thought it was weird. Like some of them did like the traditional accent and like kind of played into that, but then sometimes they weren't, and like that kind of threw me off. Definitely doesn't ruin the movie. It's just like a little weird.
Yeah,
Um,
there was definitely a little like I also noticed that, Kevin, where there were certain acting performances that were clearly better than others. Like
yeah, I think
yeah.
she was good, but she didn't really do an accent. But she was consistent and not doing like the accent.
Yes.
The
Yeah.
brother
And you
was
don't
really
think
good.
The brother was super good.
Mhm.
I think he was one of the best actors in the whole film.
But then some of the like tribesmen, I was like, dude, this dude sucks.
The
like
dude
the
that was
one,
like a jerk. Yeah, the guy that was a
yeah.
jerk was so bad.
He
He was
was
literally like
so-
if you took like Biff from Back to the Future
Yeah.
and like sent him like he's just like seems like a bully. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like
So in general, acting was not bad. I thought the cinematography was really good, which is somewhat surprising in like a campy action flick that it has like really cool looking shots and like a really cool art style, like the fight in the when they're tied to the tree and it's like all smoky, like stuff like that. I thought was really good. And then overall, the director I really liked. I liked the way he did this movie and he doesn't have a long credit, this guy, but he has good credits. Like
yeah, like it's
so
high quality.
he did Prey, which I thought was really good. He also did an episode of The Boys.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then he also did one of my favorite episodes of Black Mirror, which isn't a more popular one, but he did Playtest. Remember Playtest? Where
Which
he's in
one
the
was that?
video game, like the VR video game.
Yes, the haunted
It's
house video
Kurt
game.
Russell's kid.
Yeah. You mean Striking Vipers? Yeah. I'm very familiar with that. very familiar with that episode.
Favorite
yes.
one.
He did
Favorite
that,
episode.
and then
Favorite
more
episode.
importantly, he did one of my favorite sci-fi movies of the like current century, like of our time,
Striking Vipers?
which was Striking Vipers, but 10 Cloverfield Lane, which I thought was a
that is a
fantastic
good
sci-fi
movie.
movie.
Yeah,
So
really good movie.
I think this movie had a lot going for it. I'm a little bit of a fanboy. I think I'm just happy that, you know, there was finally a good movie since Predators, which came out in like 2012. And even that one's just like good just for campiness. This one I thought was a good movie. Like all the other ones, this was definitely as good as, if not better than the original. And it moves away from just being a campy action movie to being an actual good movie.
I'll
say
this
is better
too.
than Predator 1.
Dude, I think it might be better than Predator 1. It's so much. I know you said it's shallow, and I was going to argue with you about that in the actual movie, but I think it has so much more to it. Obviously, it misses, and I was going to say this to Joe too, but it misses the mystery of Predator, right? Like, the original Predator, what it has going for it is like, you don't know anything about this thing, right? Like, the movie starts out, they're going to that tribe, and there's just like skulls
like, the
with the spines like hanging up, and like the locals are just getting murdered by this mysterious thing. So this hit squad of like commandos go in there to try and fight it, and it literally fucks them up. And honestly, he doesn't even win. Like Arnold Schwarzenegger barely wins. Like he just survives. He just survives. The Predator literally just blows itself to Kingdom Come, and then
also like it's cloaked for most of the movie. Like you don't see it for most of the movie.
Right, which is what this film doesn't get, that mystery of like, and to Joe, you said like you don't really see it. That is true to form with the Predator movies, is you don't really see the Predator until the end because it's a predator and it's trying to, like, the fear and that scary part of the movies comes from that, like, holy shit, how do we beat him? I mean, Julia said it. I'm sitting watching it with Julia tonight, and she's just like every time he shows up and fucks something up, she's like, how are they gonna kill this thing? Like that's what it's trying to do, of like create this like omnipotent alien.
Yeah, and I get that. I have no issue with that. My point was the first 30 to 35 minutes of this movie feels more like an indie drama about a Native American girl and tribe than like a sci-fi action movie. And I don't love when, like, I mean, obviously I knew this was a sci-fi movie, so it didn't throw me off too much. Like I was expecting it. But I think if I truly had gone in, if this wasn't a franchise movie and I had gone in not knowing anything, I would have been like, what the fuck? Like, I thought I was watching this, and now I'm watching something totally different. So that's where I like would have liked to seen a little bit more like violence or something from the Predator, kind of, even like more than just tracks, something to hint that it's this dangerous being early on and something like that. But I think
I think those are good first reactions. Let's see, James, are we pressing play or are you scrolling?
Well, I think there's a lot of fair points to be made. I think I'm still going to click play here, but I I know what you mean, Joe. Like there's definitely, this is no striking vipers, so it's going to be a soft play from me.
Joey?
I can see why you'd play it if you like this genre. To me, it's not something I'm super interested in. And I think there's a lot of people who are like me. So I'm going to keep scrolling. If it is something you'd like, it is well done and you can watch, but I'm going to scroll.
I don't think there's a surprise here. I'm gonna press play. Really like the movie, and I do think it's a good watch, regardless of whether you're like into the Predator like series. To Joe's point, if it's not your genre, it's not your genre. But if you're into kind of sci-fi, kind of slasher sci-fi, then I think you'll enjoy this even without any kind of exposure to the series.
I'm glad you just said that because I'll have a comment for the next section that I want to bring up.
Okay.
But
Ooh.
a little cliffhanger.
We'll save it.
He's coming for
Cliffhanger.
you.
I love it. I love it. All right. Well, we will be back with the full review. In the meantime, if you're enjoying our show, you like listening to us, and you want to hear more, go ahead, check out our YouTube channel. If you're here already, go ahead, hit subscribe. It really helps out. Helps us grow and build a fan base, and keep putting out good content and put out better content in the future. Let us know what you want to see, and then check out the socials. Flixfellas on Insta. We're on Twitter. Flix_fellas. Are we on Twitter?
Mostly
It
Instagram,
exists.
TikTok. Twitter exists.
TikTok.
I haven't live
You're
tweeted a
all
movie in a
Insta,
while.
Be real.
Yeah.
Should we have a Flixfellas Be Real?
We should have a Be Real. I do love comments. Like, I honestly wish we would do, like, I love it when people comment on videos because it's a really quick way for me to get right back to people. So, keep those up too.
And we will see you after the break. Welcome back, fellas.
Fellows.
I forgot to ask, are you guys drinking anything tonight?
Nah, not tonight.
No.
I'm a little tie tonight, so I don't want to like.
Mm.
I'll wind
great
down.
tennis workout.
Yeah, me and Joey are tennis boys.
Oh right.
Joey's been
suburban
killing
life.
Not included anymore.
Yeah, that's suburban
not
life.
included anymore.
Yeah, sad.
You guys got to come play pickleball. We played for 3 hours that day.
I'd love.
I want to play pickleball too. It's just Saturdays are hard.
It's so good.
Yeah,
but
I was just not around this past weekend, but yes, I definitely want to play going forward.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is a movie podcast, not a pickleball podcast.
Not yet.
So back to the film Prey. On the break, we were chit-chatting a little bit, discussing Dan Trachtenberg, and made an interesting connection that his 2 big movies, he's really only got 2 movies that he's done. The rest is TV, as Joe pointed out. And interestingly enough, his 2 movies are in established universes already, but just a different story within them. Not a continuation of what came before, and I mean, this one's kind of a prequel, but really self-contained stories within the universe. And I think he did both very well.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was interesting to me, and I applaud him for that.
Applaud.
Yeah, and I will give this movie credit. Like I said, I thought it had really good elements. The directing, I think, was one of them. To me, it really was just the genre that I'm not a huge fan of. Yeah. And that brings me to my cliffhanger, kind of, from pre-commercial break.
Get him.
It kind of reminded me of like a slasher film where there's a villain who has no motive, essentially, just to kill.
Yeah.
And again, there's clearly a market for it. There's a huge genre of it. I never understood it because I need a motive. I need to understand why a character is doing what they're doing. And I get that they're just like, in this one, essentially, just like an animalistic predator.
Joey, he's the predator. He's just predating, obviously.
Let me see if this sways you a little bit then. Because obviously you haven't seen any of the other ones.
Established.
And what they establish within the universe, and they kind of touch on it a little bit here, like they make comments to it, but the Predator doesn't have no motive, right? Like, his motive is it's a game. Like, it's him hunting whatever the top species is the top dog on any given planet, right? So it's like when we go like big game hunting. Like if someone like a human goes out into an environment that is unfamiliar to him and hunts big game, they're not going to hunt the deer out there. They're going to hunt the fucking lions,
Yeah.
the tigers. So
The bears.
that's
Oh
just
my.
the comparison. The bears, yeah, lions, tigers, and bears. Good one, James. Classic. So it's not like so much like a slasher where it's just like this dude is just some like stabby, stabby, stabby. Like he's just hunting. Like it's just a sport to him.
He's just swanging and
And
banging, man.
we are not. We are that prey because we are kind of the top dogs.
Yeah, that does help a little bit. I see that. I get that because like the whole theme of this movie is that he's not hunting her because she
she's
doesn't
not a
come off as a
threat.
threat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think my struggle with this was that like it's clearly an alien who has the technology to come from another planet. So like,
Mhm.
wouldn't you want to just like conquer the planet, not just like kill for sport?
Well, I
But
think it's just more of like a
We
I
don't
get
wanna
that too.
conquer the jungle.
That's true. No, and that's what I'm saying. That is a fair point. So it
like
does.
their motive in all movies, like even in like Alien versus Predator, is literally just to find the most deadly thing and then kill
Mhm.
it. You know, what I mean?
Well, and
prove their own
it-
strength. You know what I mean?
I think
And
it's
then there's
clear.
one where it like corrals like the best killers on Earth and puts them on their own planet in like a games ground, like we would
Let's
do
go.
in like
Yeah.
where
It's
you
like
take
PUBG.
game and put it.
It's like PUBG.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very cool.
Well, and I did get that like kind of metaphor too of like an outsider coming into the Native American land and like
Mm-hmm.
kind of abusing the land and the system kind of. So I do get that analogy too. I didn't know that they were all, or at least the first one was also Native Americans. I know Aliens vs Predators is
No. It was just there
aliens.
was like
There's only
one
one
Native
guy
American.
in the squad
Descent.
who's like
Yeah.
Native American heritage.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And essentially just like a
Um,
nod.
It's Arnold Schwarzenegger in the original
Yeah.
is like the protagonist. Yeah.
Yeah. But he's not the Native American
yeah.
guy. He's,
No.
Arnie does not.
Does not play.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I definitely think that it's a very simple enemy, and I think that because it's a very old franchise, like that happens. Like Mike Myers is a very simple bad guy. Like Scream and Jigsaw are a little more complicated, but like there's like a lot of like Freddy Krueger is kind of simple. I don't really understand Chucky, but like a lot of like the like monster bad guys, like they have a very simple goal. You know what I mean? Like it's not like a
Mhm.
depth. Like I feel like now when you get into more like horror or like action, there's always like some like political, like if it's a human, there's always like political intrigue or there's like some systematic growth thing. And if it's an alien, it's always conquering the planet. Like I actually do
Yeah,
kind of like this from the point of view that their goal isn't to conquer the planet. They don't want it. You know what I mean?
No, and that's what I like
Yeah.
with this directing style is that he didn't throw in unnecessary kind of like stuff. I thought the French
That was cool.
colonials were at first it threw me off, and then I was like, oh no, it's kind of cool. Like I like that they were showing it, but
And it makes sense for what they were trying to do, which is parallel her as a predator to Predator as a predator. And that parallel becomes more clear as the movie goes on and she becomes more skilled in what she wants to be skilled at, as well as Predator finding his way around Earth because it's his first time on Earth
Yeah.
and like just figuring it out.
Yeah.
So
That and like there's
cool
the
parallel between the two.
there's like the difference in like Predator like isn't using all of his equipment when he's fighting, like when he fought like the Native American hunters, like he's not using all of his equipment. You know what I mean? Like he's like, fighting,
right.
he is taking them out because they're using bows and arrows and spears. You know what I mean? And then he's going against like this like squad, or it's not a squad, but this like group of like
militia.
French colonialists, and they all have guns. You know what I mean? And he's like, oh, I need to like pull out my shield and like pay attention more and like use my
But
gun.
that's also what kind of bothered me is that there was like 12 men at one point with guns on him. Not one of them landed a shot. And then you have this girl who like I get
Some
it.
of them
She
did.
has
It
this
just was like bouncing off his armor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I get that she had this kind of like character arc of she's not a hunter to she hunted the biggest prey out there in a matter of 48 hours or even less. But again, it's just, I don't know. It's a lot. If I'm gonna sit and watch a movie for an hour and a half, I kind of want a little more thought provoking
Yeah.
going on. It seemed a little bit too on the nose of everything. Like I said, she's told so much in the beginning she's not a hunter. Obviously,
Yeah.
she's going to
Like,
be
she's
a
going to come in
hunter.
and get the kill. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's just me with the genre. I don't think this movie did anything necessarily bad or wrong.
Yeah.
So,
Agreed. I understand the frustration, and I think that like oversimplicity is definitely something, and there's definitely elements of like a campy storyline, like with the and I always love an underdog story. You know what I mean? And like I definitely think like there could be an element of that, and they probably could have done that a little better. But
Mhm.
like I don't think, at least again, like what I'm saying is I understand your opinion, Joe, and I think that it's valid. I just don't think that detracted too much from the movie for me. I do have a question to kind of to kind of take a step back to take a step forward. When Kevin was talking about this as like a franchise movie and like the director has done
Mhm.
other franchise movies, I actually think it takes away from this movie that it's a franchise movie. You know what I mean? Like it's weird when certain movies as a sequel, like a true sequel, like can kind of ride the coattails of like a good movie before it and get a pass. Whereas like this, I actually like it's a much more standalone movie. But I think like because you're comparing this against other, like if I'm comparing this against like Predators or like Predator One, then like I in my brain take like it degrades the movie to me because it has direct comparisons.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's a bad movie. Like if I saw this movie in a vacuum, I think it's better than if I was comparing it to other movies that like I think I look back more favorably on, you know?
Yeah. I get that. For me though, like I personally just thought it was a worthy successor to everything because and like it was very true to just the original, which is just because like the other ones just kind of get
Complicated
like
when they don't need to be.
weird and like
Yeah.
complicated, and this one just kind of goes back to the roots. Okay, there's this fucking predator. We don't know what it is, or the characters in the movie don't know what it is, and they're just trying to beat this one predator rather than being on the predator's planet, which I love that movie, or like being in LA, like downtown LA, or like
Yeah.
whatever it is. Like it's very true to the form, and I appreciated that, and I thought they just did it really well.
I was gonna say I agree and disagree because, like I said, like it does feel like a standalone movie, which I can appreciate the quality of it. If I watch this in a vacuum and I didn't know like it was going to be a sci like it feels like two different genres combined into one, which then I would be like, I don't know if I would like that. But because
Yeah.
there's a franchise behind it that sets the groundwork of sci-fi, this predator, alien planet kind of thing,
Yeah.
it helps establish like what to expect.
And you can like hand wave other stuff. You know what I mean? That you would have a problem with a movie in a vacuum.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's true. Interesting. Can we talk about
What?
All right, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, what was y'all's favorite Predator kill or Naru kill? Because she had some cool ones, but I think
kills.
Predators were cooler.
I think the Predator, the like little like when he like takes out the little like he's got like all these crazy weapons and then he's got a knife that looks like a centipede and he's like whoa,
Oh
and then
yeah,
he like
and
yeets
just
it
whips
and
it.
he like hits the guy
Yeah.
and like takes his it like closes and takes his leg off. Like I thought it was like I like the gadgets. The gadgets are cool.
Yeah.
You know what I didn't like about this also with the kills? The predator kills a lot of people very easily and in very cool ways. He kills a grizzly bear, and then this dog just like jumps on him and he like misses the
Yeah.
shot and doesn't kill
You
the
know,
dog. I'm like, I don't want to see a
I
dog
was
die,
gonna
but
say,
I'm like, you need to kill the
yes.
dog.
Yeah.
I'm Joe. I was gonna say the exact same thing. Like definitely didn't want that dog to die. That was a cute dog, but also they're cowards for not killing that
Yeah,
dog.
they should have killed
Like,
that dog.
That
That
dog
dog like
should
ran
have
away from a
died.
grizzly bear. It it hit the predator multiple times.
Ran away from a grizzly bear. Me and Jewel looked up. We were talking about grizzly bears. We looked it up. Those fuckers can run up to 35 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Wow.
No way that dog's outrunning that bear.
You guys know the rule though, right? Like if you're getting chased by a grizzly bear, what you do?
What do you
You have
do?
to run
Zigzag.
downhill.
Yeah,
It's
but
not
that's
zigzag.
that's
He's a
assuming that you
I thought
can
you were gonna say
find-
zigzag, and then I was gonna call you out because that's an alligator.
No, it's you have to run downhill because of the way
Yeah,
they're
but
like
that's
back
assuming
heavy.
you're on a hill in some sort. Like I
Or
get they're
you
usually on
play
mountains,
dead.
but
You play dead. That's the other
no,
thing.
I
If they've
fu-
got
The
you
play
dead to
dead thing,
nuts, you
though,
play
is-
dead.
The play dead thing though is more like your body can take more if you just get wailed around and you're like kind of limp rather than like it'll still kill you.
Well, you're kind of hoping that it like is bored with you and like
Can we
doesn't
put a
want to eat
disclaimer
you.
out real quick that we have never
Oh yeah,
fought
we
a
don't know
bear,
anything about
and
this. Don't
if
take our
anyone
advice. Yeah.
encounters a bear, they should
I've
not.
chased a bear into the woods.
If you get killed by a bear, it's not my fault. Okay, this is all hypothetical. This is all,
Just put a quick
Yeah.
disclaimer out there.
yeah.
'Cause
We,
I could see some
this
fool-
podcast, no medical advice, no survival advice. We're not doctors.
I heard
we're
it on a
not
podcast.
smart.
You're supposed to run
Yeah.
in zigzags.
Yeah.
But I think my favorite kill was when he fucking took the fur trader and he put him up against the tree and he's holding him and then he just opens his shield
yeah, that
and
was
cuts the
cool.
dude's fucking
That
head
was
off
cool.
and the tree in half.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah,
That was pretty
that's
sick.
fucking badass.
Yeah. I like it at the end when he's like trying to do that to Noru and it's like she like blocks it.
Oh,
with
it's like cut between the rocks.
She blocks it with the rocks. Like that was sick.
That was another. I mean, I get it. She can't die. She's a protagonist.
Yeah, she's
She
smart,
was
Joey.
smart,
She's using her brain.
But it was just like too convenient that he couldn't kill her all these times.
Of course, Joey. Of course you'd say that because she's a woman. How dare you, Joey?
Yeah.
Honestly.
How dare
How
you.
dare you?
Also,
You're gonna get canceled.
It was cool though
You're
how
gonna
she
get
just like
canceled.
like it did show that she like it wasn't one of those where she was just automatically a good fighter. Like she was using things that they showed you that she noticed about the
Mhm.
predator. So it's not like she was just like, oh,
Winging
like
it or-
we're at the
yeah.
end now and I can kill him. She was like, okay, like I know how his helmet
Mhm.
works. Like I know
about
like
the mud pit.
like what he's
I
gonna
know,
do if
like,
I do
yeah.
this or yeah. So
Bro,
I thought that was pretty
She
cool.
caps that dude. Like straight up.
She fucking puts a cap in the back of that.
I
She
love
fucking. You know what she does? She fucking Lenny's him from
Literally,
Of Mice and Men.
literally
Remember
Lenny's
Of
him.
Mice and Men?
She
You know what
walks
she
up
doesn't
behind him
do though? She
and
doesn't
just,
save
like,
her brother's life,
pings-
and she just
Yeah, but
shoots him
listen,
10 minutes
sometimes,
later.
sometimes you can't. You know what I mean? She didn't have the like the poppy. She didn't know about like the hey, I can make my blood cold. Like I didn't. She didn't know that mattered.
No, she did.
You know. No.
She knew it at that
was-
Oh,
point.
did she?
Yeah, she was cold.
She figured it out right before
Mhm.
that.
Oh. Yeah.
That's why
Tough.
she was able to like work around him, kind of. But
Dude, the
she had
brother
the
put a
shot and
spear
she
through
didn't
his
take it.
chest.
Yeah, but
The
she
brother-
had the shot
that
in
was
the head
sick.
and she didn't
Through his
take it
shoulder.
when
Yeah,
the
it's
brother
true.
needed
It
it.
wouldn't have done anything though.
'Cause he
She
had this
glacked
bone
him from
shield.
point blank with that gun, and it didn't.
No,
do
no,
anything.
no. But the bone, it bounces off the bone, the bone mask.
She shot him in the back of the
Yeah,
head.
the back of the head.
Like
There's no
George
bone
shot
mask.
Lenny in the back of the
Yes,
head.
Yeah. It's all like the alien.
Will there be rabbits, George?
Will there be rabbits? Yeah, Lenny. There will be rabbits.
That's sick,
Oh.
dude. That's sick. Joey, did you read Of Mice and Men or see the
No,
movie?
but I know the story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know enough about the meme to know exactly what we're talking
Yes.
about. Will there be rabbits?
Yeah,
George?
and I think easily the best scene. I think easily the best scene was, well, maybe not easily because when she fights him, it's pretty good. But I think that fight when he's fucking up all the fur traders, I was like, this is like peak Predator.
Yeah.
right here.
Dude,
Like, this is just badass.
when she doesn't have, I don't think she has like, she has some cool fights. I feel like they do a good job of like not like immediately making her like this badass hero at the very end, you know? Like she fights to the ability. Like she's like very quiet. She takes opportunities to like outsmart him and like stealthily take hits and things like that. Like she's not just like this like insane combatant like right at the end.
yeah,
Which I actually really like and I kind of commend them for. But when she yeets, like she like is like throwing the tomahawk with the rope, that was sick. At the very like
that was sick.
when she's killing the
Fucking
fur
up the
traders.
fur traders?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She like
definitely.
hits one, throws it, and then like rips it back and it hits another one in front of her. I was like, all right, that's kind of
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. You know what else I thought was like just like a small thing that was funny in this movie is that they didn't put any kind of subtitles over the fur traders
Oh, I
when
know.
they were
They
speaking
just
French
put it
because
in
it was
French.
like Like, it literally has no bearing on this movie at all. Like, just let them fucking
They're like,
talk French
fuck
like
these weird French
assholes.
people.
Yeah. And then another fun fact, which I had read, and we actually watched a little of it, they did all the actors came back and redubbed this in Comanche.
Oh, really?
And they used some software to try to make it like match the lips.
That's really
like,
cool.
better. It still doesn't match perfectly, but matches it pretty well, and it's all in Comanche.
That's cool. I like that.
Pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
That is cool.
Yeah.
I wish, how many what's it called, small rats do you think that the French colonists had under their hats as they were trying to fight?
Did they keep rats under their
It's just
hats?
a
Do you not
Ratatouille
understand
joke?
the reference? Yeah, I'm trying to make
Like
Ratatouille. joke.
Ratatouille?
I'm trying to like that they're like the French.
But that doesn't happen in France.
Yeah, it does.
It's in
Ratatouille
France,
takes place in
Is
France, bro.
but he's a chef, not a.
Does it really?
yeah, he's a
fur
chef. But I'm
trader.
saying that there's like little colonist rats under their heads. Disregard my joke,
Kev,
okay? It sucks.
make this a clip.
Yeah, I
And
might,
then
I might
cut
cut
it.
that. I might
Cut
fucking
that joke,
cut
you
that out
loser.
of the
Make it
episode.
a
It was so
Hey,
bad.
Clip to
I'm gonna
embarrass
cut
him
you
and
out of
then
this
cut
whole
it.
episode.
Muted.
There's gonna be long pauses.
Yeah. Oh my god.
But yeah, I mean, not much else to say about like it's a Predator movie, right? Like you're either gonna like the genre, right, and enjoy just mindless killing
Yeah.
with a little bit of depth,
Yeah.
or if you don't like that shit, like it's not gonna do anything for you.
Agreed.
I think I don't think we're on one side or the other. I think we agree that this film has an audience.
And it's Kevin.
And you know, for
It's
fans of the
Kevin.
genre, and it's me. But for fans of the genre, I think people are going to be pleasantly surprised. Fans of the franchise, I think they're going to enjoy it. But if it's not your thing, like the killing and stuff, it might not be your
I
thing.
have one note about the brother, and it's not really a big deal, but like he seemed to be a fairly good brother. Like he wanted to like help her
Yeah.
hunt. He wanted to like keep her kind of involved and protect her. And
He stole her cred though.
yeah, he stole her credit with the lion. Like
Yeah, he did,
she basically took it out. Mostly, he said he had to finish it off, but like he like shut her down after that. And I was like, why are you so mad at her when she actually proved herself? And like,
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think his point is she didn't at that moment because she couldn't take it home. Like she couldn't finish the fight.
yeah, I get
Like
it.
she had to be carried home on a stretcher.
I get it, but I think if from
Still kind of a
yeah,
dick.
just like
Still
from
kind of a
good
dick.
brother perspective, he
Well,
should have been like,
jokes on him. He got fucking
clapped.
2 spikes to the
Yeah.
chest,
Yeah, he got clapped.
and she got to be the war chief. So
Hell
fuck
yeah.
him.
yeah,
Hell yeah.
All right.
I'm ready.
I think we've talked enough about the Prey movie. I want to play game. I demand game. I
Okay,
demand-
okay, hold on.
Demand sport.
Let's see,
Entertain
Prey.
me.
Rotten.
Teenage.
Okay. Prey. Da-da-da-da. Okay, who wants to go first? Tomato meter.
Tomatometer.
It's like James starts.
Go ahead, James.
Is this tomato meter, not audience score? Tomato meter. I'm gonna
Tomatometer.
say 72.
Joe?
I was gonna say like 79, 80. I'm gonna say 79.
The tomato meter. Certified fresh.
Ooh, it's above 80.
93%.
Wow. Wow.
93%
It doesn't
on
surprise
the
me.
tomato meter.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. That was pretty good.
And audience score. James?
I'm gonna say they're dumb. 65.
Oh no, I
Okay.
think it's gonna be similar. I think it's gonna be 89. High, but not.
It's a 72.
Whoa.
And I'll give this disclaimer,
I rated it a
which
6,
we don't talk about
so-
enough, but on an audience score with a movie like this, you can usually expect it to be lower than it probably should be.
Yep.
With a female protagonist,
Yes.
usually they get review bombed. Unfortunately, it's a world we live in where anything with a female protagonist or anything that people somewhat
Careful,
would disagree with
Kevin.
for dumb reasons, they just review bomb
They
this shit.
do.
Like it happens all the
People
time.
like dump on it for no reason.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, I'm surprised though still because like I said, I'm not a fan of the franchise. I think this movie is a good standalone. Like, it could be a standalone movie. It's got good qualities, and I thought the fans
It's
would
like
still
fucking-
respect it.
Yeah. Well, I think that they do.
It's like, dude,
it's just
it's like
easy
guys
to
like
jump on.
this.
You know what I mean?
Here's a perfect example. All right, Rob B. I'm calling out Rob
Damn
B.
you, Rob B.
Maybe it's
fucking-
Rob B.
All right, he says, honestly, the suspension of disbelief you need to make this movie watchable and believable is tough to muster.
Wah, wah, wah.
This little woman and her tinker toy of a tomahawk should be like a gnat bite to a monster that can go one-on-one with a grizzly bear.
Bruh.
Yes, it's sci-fi, and she apparently has the strength of Captain America for the final battle. Her fellow natives were tossing her around like she was a toy halfway into the movie. If she was that strong, she should have just beat them all up and gone on her merry way. The idea that she could even lift any of Predator's weaponry, much less wield it with any precision, is laughable, as they weigh more than she does. What was a relatively okay movie to that point was completely shat on in the end. It's like stuff like that. Like that guy, like
You can say that about any
he is
action
hiding
movie,
behind the
dude.
fact that he's mad that
Yeah.
it's a girl. She didn't fight him with
She
strength.
also held
she
her
fought
own
him with
very
her
well.
mind.
Yeah.
Against
She also
her
didn't
tribes.
use his weapon.
Yes,
really.
she did hold her own against
Yeah.
those guys
Yeah.
pretty well.
She like held
She just
her
got
stick.
sucker punched.
Well, she
Yeah.
like held his
She got
stick for a
sucker
little.
punched.
That's
Yeah.
it. You know what I mean? Like she didn't really use
Yeah.
any of his weapons.
So it's reviews like Rob B, who's probably a fucking loser.
Hey, Rob B.
probably doesn't know how to talk to people outside of
I hope it's not
internet.
Rob F.
And just
Rob F.
kind of like Rob F. So, yeah, I think the audience score, I kind of have a problem with that. But I agree with the critics. I think it's certified fresh.
Certified fresh.
All right, let's see if we're doubling down or we're changing. James, are you doubling down or are you changing?
I'm doubling down, but I'm much more confident in the yes column than I was before. I think this is a good movie. I
Nice.
think it's worth the watch. It's only an hour and a half. You know, it's very quick, and it's a high quality movie. I really think it's like it doesn't drag on. It delivers a very good story. It feels unique with still playing within the bounds of the Predator franchise. So if you like it, you'll love it. If you like the Predator franchise, you'll love this movie. If you don't, I still would encourage you to watch it. Again, like it's a gore / action movie, so there's that disclaimer. But I overall think it was really good. So
Joey.
Yeah, I think your analogy of comparing it to just general sport or like hunting sport, which I also don't understand. That's why I'm still like struggling with it a little bit because like I don't get why people care to do that really, because you're usually protected anyway. But
Joey, you don't go lion hunting. You don't lion hunt with the
only
boys.
once, and you know, I killed 3 lions, and it just like it was too easy.
I felt nothing. I was empty inside. Okay.
I look, if you're into the genre, if you're a fan of the franchise, definitely watch it. It's not horrible. It's definitely watchable. It is a good watchable movie. So I'm gonna give it a press play.
Nice. He changed.
Nice.
Yeah.
Kevino.
We did it. We did it.
We
Sorry,
did
I was
it.
getting a cough drop.
We did it.
Wow,
We
that's
did it.
fantastic.
We did it. We did it. Dun 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 dun.
Because I'll tell you, like when I was watching this movie, I was like writing my notes, and they're bad. Like they were all notes that like it was a bad. Like I was not gonna like this movie, but I felt bad writing the note because I was like, I don't really like.
Because you were like, it's
I don't
good.
care that the Predator didn't come in until 35 minutes. Like it was a little
Yeah.
slow. I do actually kind of stand by that. That I wish things
Sure,
happened
yeah.
earlier, but I was in it, so. And you know what's going to happen.
I'm
but
glad
it's-
we changed
yeah.
you. That's 3 plays. I don't remember the last time we had 3 plays, but
It's been a while.
yeah, I think it's been a minute. Well, thank you again for listening. Check out our socials, flicks_fellas. Hit subscribe, really helps us out. And check out our Patreon for the price of a sandwich. Okay, 1 sandwich
Per year.
You can get a year,
For a year.
a year subscription to our Patreon. It would really help us out. Get us some clout.
We could buy
help us
Joey a
keep going,
sandwich.
and then
For the
we'll get
price
some
of a
good merch
sandwich, we
going
could
like James
each
is
get
wearing.
3 bags of chips.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Help
Hell
feed
yeah.
the fellas.
Help feed the fellas. Feed the fellas.
And hey, No worries if
Yeah.
not. Okay, we're just doing this for fun until we start making millions. So thanks for listening, and we will see you next time.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye.
See ya.